Hey YouTube, it's Jacqueline for Pixie Dust PhD. In this video, we'll be going over all of your need-to-know facts about Saratoga Springs. As with all Disney Vacation Club resorts, and really all hotels at Walt Disney World, there is just loads to know. Stay tuned to hear about cost, transportation options, dining, and more. Saratoga Springs is a standalone Disney Vacation Club resort, meaning it's not part of an already existing deluxe hotel. This resort opened in 2004, and fun fact, it actually opened on the old campus for the Disney Institute. Themed after Saratoga Springs, New York, this is a peaceful retreat full of lush greenery and a spa-like feel throughout. Admittedly, the theming is subtle, and to me, it doesn't feel overly Disney. Between the greenery, golf courses, pastel buildings, equestrian touches, and location, it just feels like a retreat away from Disney World. The cost of Saratoga Springs makes it attractive to many for a potential DVC home resort. Directly through Disney, currently prices for Saratoga Springs vary between $160 and $165 per point pending on your sources. I will leave some links in the description below. On the resale market, it's pretty easy to come across contracts varying between $100 and $110 per point. If you're looking for a larger contract, you can also definitely find contracts for sub $100 per point. Either way, buying directly through Disney or on the resale market, Saratoga Springs is one of the cheapest initial purchase options you'll find for DVC home resorts located at Walt Disney World. Annual dues are also low. In 2020, they were around $6.77 per point. This is the third lowest annual dues amounts for all of the Walt Disney World DVC home resorts, and over $1 cheaper than the annual dues over at Old Key West, which Saratoga Springs is often compared to. Currently, the only lower dues are over at the Grand Floridian and Bay Lake Tower at the Contemporary. That being said, the initial purchase price for those two resorts is of course much higher than the initial purchase price at Saratoga Springs. The number of points required to stay at Saratoga Springs is also a really good value. Your mileage of points will vary depending on the time of year you travel, so what DVC season you're traveling in, and also which view category you book. But if you don't mind staying in standard view rooms and traveling during one of those lower DVC cost seasons, then Saratoga Springs will often be one of the cheapest options for you. Generally, you'll often find similar point costs over at Boardwalk and Old Key West, again in those standard view rooms. Although for those 3-bedroom grand villas, the point cost over at Old Key West is typically a lot less than you'll find at Saratoga Springs. That being said, that 3-bedroom cost at Saratoga Springs is going to be a lot less than your other not Old Key West options. Overall, cost-wise, Saratoga Springs is very appealing. You have a low initial purchase price, low annual dues, and generally speaking, pretty low amounts of points required to stay. It really doesn't get much better than that. Saratoga Springs contracts expire in 2054, so you also have plenty of time to make use of those points. Particularly, if you purchase through the resale market, the overall cost of Saratoga Springs is an extremely attractive option. Saratoga Springs is a large resort with the inventory ranging from 888 to 1,320 rooms. These are spread out across 18 buildings that contain a vast majority of the villas, and then there are 60 standalone buildings that contain all of the treehouse villas. I believe the resort itself covers around 65 acres, so it's definitely not compact. This spread out resort is divided into 5 sections: the Carousel, the Paddock, the Grandstands, the Springs, and Congress Park. Interestingly, the Springs section was named well before the creation of Disney Springs. The Congress Park section is a preferred category, so it will take more points to stay there. This is because it overlooks Disney Springs with fantastic views, and it is a quick walk to the dining and shopping district destination. The up to 1,320 rooms at Saratoga Springs are comprised of 360 dedicated 2-bedrooms, 432 lock-offs, 36 grand villas, that's those 3-bedroom accommodations, and 60 treehouse villas. Of note, there are 0 dedicated studios and 0 dedicated 1-bedrooms. If you're looking to stay at Saratoga Springs in a studio or a 1-bedroom, you will be in a lock-off. This has little to no practical implications in my opinion, but just an FYI. Studio room sizes at Saratoga Springs are fairly average, coming in around 355 square feet. By pure rankings, when sorting room sizes for the DVC home resorts at Walt Disney World, this is actually quite small. That being said, there's a cluster of 5 resorts with studios that are about 10 square feet within each other, so I consider that to be pretty average, all things considered. The same trend holds true for the 1-bedrooms coming in at around 714 square feet and the 2-bedrooms coming in at 1,070 square feet. While these are technically on the small end, if you're going to do a sorted list from smallest to largest accommodation size, there are a handful of resorts with very similar footprints. The exception to this are those grand villas, which come in at around 2,133 square feet. Although that is a lot of room, it's actually much smaller than many other grand villa options on Disney World property for DVC home resorts. To my knowledge, this is one of the smallest grand villa options, with the exception of Bay Lake Tower being even smaller. The treehouse villas are a unique offering at Saratoga Springs, and these actually opened well after the resort in 2009. I know it sounds wild, but these honestly are the closest thing I could imagine to an actual treehouse as far as Disney Vacation Club accommodations go. So no, it's not actually a treehouse, but let's use our imagination. Treehouse villas are located in their own separate section of the resort, and they do stand tall off the ground, I would guess about 10 feet or so. Most of these will require the use of stairs to enter, although there are a limited number of ADA-compliant treehouse villas that have ramps instead. The villas are an octagonal shape and offer 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and come in at around 1,074 square feet. These treehouse villas sleep up to 9 people. Although these are 3-bedroom accommodations, you'll notice that per the square feet, it's actually much smaller than a 3-bedroom grand villa and pretty similar to those 2-bedroom villa sizes. And although there are 3 bedrooms, the treehouse villas only sleep up to 9 people. You might assume the treehouse villas would feel quite cramped given the fact that they're squeezing 3 bedrooms into the space of a standard 2-bedroom villa, but the layout is actually pretty ingenious. The kitchen, living, and dining room areas are all very open concept, so there's really great flow in the common spaces of the villa. I do think 9 people would feel tight, but I generally feel like the maximum amount of people in any given villa size would feel tight. Overall, I personally don't think they feel too crowded, but to each their own. All Walt Disney World DVC home resorts come with a balcony, which is a feature that is largely cherished by the DVC owners. The treehouse villas kind of one-up this in my opinion. It's not just a balcony, you get this large, beautiful wooden deck to hang out on. And as you might assume from the name, the area that the treehouse villas are located in is pretty densely forested. So you can sit out on your wooden deck, enjoy your morning coffee, look out basically into the forest, and feel a world away from Disney World. Currently, other than those treehouse villas, I'm a little bit hesitant to comment on the current rooms at Saratoga Springs, including the layout and quirks. Saratoga Springs was in the midst of a full hard goods refurbishment when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, and I think it's safe to assume that progress has slowed a bit due to that. There have been a lot of complaints in recent years about the Saratoga rooms feeling old and run down and like they need a refresh, and honestly, I think that's to be expected when you are in the final years before entering a full refurbishment. The full refurbishment started in June of 2019 and was slated to end sometime in 2021, although that timeline may now be delayed. Thus far, the updates given to the rooms result in a much brighter and cheerier feel. I will leave some links in the description below for you to explore some refurbished rooms yourself. If you're headed down to Saratoga Springs soon and you want to be sure to stay in a refurbished room, I am fairly confident that the entire Congress Park section of the resort is finished with the refurb. If room layouts aren't changing during this refurbishment, I will note a couple of quirks. The main bathroom in villas larger than a studio will all have 2 entrances, one from the master bedroom and one from the common area. This isn't a problem by any means, but there are just some extra doors you'll need to get used to. And the 3-bedroom grand villas are spread out over 2 distinct floors. I highly doubt that's going to change with the refurbishments. Both the downstairs and the upstairs do have exterior exits into the hallway. This is a nice, convenient touch for some, but if you have small children, it might be a security concern. There will be 2 doors that exit the villa spread out across those 2 floors for you to keep track of. For laundry, if you're staying in a studio, each section of the resort does have its own common laundry area. While you may need to schlep your laundry a little bit of ways in order to get it done, you don't have to worry about there only being one central location and it being very, very far from wherever you're staying. The section of the resort you're staying in will have a laundry room for you. Transportation from Saratoga Springs to the theme parks will be by bus. There are 5 bus stops along the route, 1 at each area of the resort. That is Grandstand, Carousel, Paddock, Congress Park, and the Springs. There's also usually a dedicated bus that runs internally to service the Treehouse Villas sections. Although you have to bus to theme parks, you can actually walk or take a boat over to Disney Springs. Depending on where you're staying in the resort and how fast you walk, Disney Springs can be as close as a 5-minute walk. If you want to be as close as possible to Disney Springs, again, stay in that Congress Park section, although it will cost you more points. A nice option included when being so close to Disney Springs is you can actually go ahead and walk to the Disney Springs bus depot and then take a bus from Disney Springs to nearly any other resort. This is super helpful if you have dining reservations at other resorts and you don't want to necessarily take a bus to a theme park and then a bus from that theme park to the resort. You can simply walk over to Disney Springs and then take a bus from the Springs to that resort. It's not direct door-to-door service, but it's pretty dang close. If you've instead got a car that you'll be bringing, parking is conveniently located outside of each building. With some luck, you can feasibly park right out in front of your villa. Being such a large resort means there's plenty of pools to choose from, and Saratoga Springs actually has 2 feature pools. The High Rock Springs pool has a 128-foot-long water slide and a kids area themed to Donald Duck. The Paddock pool has a 146-foot-long water slide and also features a kids area with 2 tiny little water slides. It's very charming. There are 3 more leisure pools scattered across different sections of the resort. These are located in the Treehouse Villa section, the Congress Park section, and the Grandstand section. All the pools have at least 1 whirlpool. Based on location, the Paddock pool is probably considered the second main pool, where the High Rock Springs pool is the primary pool. That being said, the Paddock pool is arguably the best secondary pool in all of Walt Disney World. If you have a pool-loving travel party, the sheer volume of pools to try out at Saratoga Springs may make this resort a great option for you. Other than pools, Saratoga Springs features an array of various recreation activities. Senses is the full-service spa located right at the resort if you want a chance to unwind. Plus, there's the Lake Buena Vista Golf Course, fitness center, tennis courts, basketball court, arcade, jogging path, bike rentals, yoga, playground, community hall with loads of activities, games, crafts, stuff like that, and the campfire. For dining, there's a lot of options right on property. You've got the Artist Palette, which is quick service available for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Here you can sit down to enjoy your meal and relax, or you can take grab-and-go options if you're in a rush. Additionally, this is essentially where you'll find the store with items like groceries, merchandise, sundries, and snacks. Next is the Paddock Grill. This also serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner as a quick service option and is located near that pool. The Turf Club Bar and Grill is a table service option for dinner, including indoor and outdoor seating with views of the golf course. The Turf Club also has an attached lounge where you can grab drinks and snacks during dinner time. Then there's your pool bars. There's Backstretch Pool Bar located in the grandstands and On the Rocks located at the High Rock Spring Pool. Backstretch does have a food menu similar to offerings at the Paddock Grill, where in addition to typical pool fare and drinks, you can get actual food. On the Rocks Pool Bar does not really offer food, as location-wise you are very close to the Artist Palette as well as Turf Club. If none of these options tickle your fancy, don't forget you are very close to Disney Springs and you can take a short stroll or boat ride over there to get whatever food or drink you want. Overall, Saratoga Springs, really as with all of the Disney Vacation Club home resorts, has its fair share of very enthusiastic fans as well as some haters. The biggest complaints I see tend to be around the location and the theming not being necessarily universally appealing. Of course, there are also complaints that the rooms are run down and need a refurbishment, but as we speak, that work is ongoing. For those who love it, it's often the greenery, the space, the really peaceful environment. Not to mention, at least for DVC standards, it's a pretty reasonable hit to your wallet, especially when you compare it to other Walt Disney World Disney Vacation Club home resorts. I hope you found this information helpful. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell icon for notifications for whenever I post new videos. This video is part of a series where I'm doing fast facts covering all of the Walt Disney World DVC home resorts. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to check out the other videos in this series. I love talking about all things Disney. If you want to chat, leave a comment down below, or you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at PixieDustPhD. How do you feel about Saratoga Springs? For me, personally, if I'm going to buy something as expensive as Disney Vacation Club, I kind of want to be in a location closer to theme parks where I don't necessarily have to take a bus to every single theme park. For that consideration alone, Saratoga Springs wasn't really in the running to become my home resort personally. The price, though, is super appealing, and a resort like Saratoga may make a lot of sense if you're looking to buy an add-on contract to get more Disney Vacation Club points. I can't wait to hear what you think of Saratoga Springs in the comments down below. I hope the rest of your day is stupendous, and we will see you next time at Pixie Dust PhD.